I'm not going to take up too much time, please pardon me, but I just want to lay a context, before you can bring the principal character on the stage. You got to put the props up there so that when the main attraction stands on the stage,
that's a pretty good prop.
when he steps up on the stage, there's a context in which the audience can then take him. So Sunday is part 2 of Hip Hop and the Art of Civilization building. All right, it's going to be taking place at probably one of Miami's best kept secrets, which is the African Heritage Cultural Center. If you don't know where that is, you can get that information from the websites that Brimstone mentioned. Also, you can pick up a copy of Urban American newspaper, which is on the racks right outside, that has all of the information on the back page. Y'all got that? There's a rack. Matter of fact, you won't have to pick it up. I'll go get them and bring them to you. Okay? So that you can leave with all the information inside of your hands. Because this is not something this is something you do not want to miss. And even more important, this is something that you want to bring a friend, a confidant, a stranger, and allow them to experience something like this, because all it takes is the power of one cracked atom to crack millions more. And when I say atom, I don't mean the ATOM, I mean the ADAM, which is really a man. All right? So, having said that, I want to thank each and every one of you from all the press. We got Legacy Mag is out here. We got Positive Magazine that's out here. We got Miami Film, right, that is out here. A number of other peoples from different respective organizations. And it's very important that you exchange business cards. You meet one another. You exchange ideas and thoughts of how we could take this event right here and allow it to not be one night or one weekend, but that we can allow it to become something that's a whole lot more. All right? That's what the brother been teaching us for a long time. So this is not about idolizing. This is not American Idol. We came here to be taught. We came here to share information with one another, and above that, carry on a legacy of doing both of those things, which is teach and carry on information. Capiche? Having said that, I don't know who's... Brimstone wants to come up. Thank you all very much for your time. Thank you, teacher, for allowing me the opportunity to stand before you, sir.
One more thing, just so everybody knows, please make a note of this. The Jam Master Jay fundraiser that was scheduled for Sunday at Tobacco Road has been canceled. That event is not going to, it's been pushed back. We are rescheduling that because we want to do it in a bigger, more proper way. We need more proper time to plan for that. So you can always also check my website, the MySpace that's on the flyer, and that will lead you into the direction of where we will be throughout this tour. Now, without further ado, I would like to bring up my brother, Mr. Zinaru from the Temple of Hip Hop, the minister. Please put a warm welcome together for him.
Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up? So, listen, I want to start out by saying thank you to Florida, to the hip hop community out here. It's been nothing but open arms from day one. We landed down 2 months ago. We was on the phone with Brimstone, and all that you see here is manifested in 2 months. So that just goes to show what he was talking about the power of mind and what we can really do as a community. I wanted to say something quick. We've been all around the world this year. We went to Europe. We traveled at least 30 plus countries. We crushed them in Europe. The Temple of Hip Hop made its presence known there. Everywhere we go, there's communities just like this that are willing to get together and work towards a better, bigger, brighter future, especially for our children and the young ones coming up. We need to preserve this culture now, and that's the message that we want to bring to y'all. I would also like to say a quick prayer, if everybody could just get in the position comfortable for you. I'm going to pray to God, to the goddess, to the force that is known by many different names and many attributes. But this is our God that I pray to. Praises be unto the Most High God. Thank you for guiding us as a culture. Thank you for being the true inspiration behind all that we do. Today is the day we can move forward as a nation, so let's take this responsibility seriously, God. Let's really move forward as mature adults and not play games. This is a real life situation. Kids are dying and parents are dying. We need to save them and we need to save each other. So thank you, God, for this opportunity, and praises be. Amen. Amen. All right, without any further ado, I would like to introduce our teacher, KRS-ONE.
I'm not going to spend too much time. This is about questions and answers. Let me give you a little bit of what the movement means. What does I Am Hip Hop mean? In 1987, I attended a meeting with Africa Bambaataa. Africa Bambaataa had put a meeting together at the Latin Quarter nightclub in Manhattan on 48th Street and Broadway. And the idea was to unionize rappers. The idea was, excuse me, that rappers were going, well, Africa Bambaataa saw that rappers, and you gotta notice my terminology, I'm not using slang. There's a difference between rappers, MCs, there are DJs, graffiti writers, or aerosol artists, so on. We'll go over that later. But for the sake of this right now, I'm only making this distinction because we're recording.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. There's somebody that is parked. Blue Impala needs to move their car. Somebody's blocking the vehicle and they're letting us know in here.
Right, so yeah, Blue Impala.
Blue Impala.
So putting the definitions to the side for a minute, Africa Bambaataa felt that rappers, people who were making records, should be unionized. We should have some sort of unity amongst us. At the time, it was like, you know, Big Daddy Kane, Public Enemy, Heavy D and the Boys, Salt and Pepper, Houdini, matter of fact, all of Def Jam at the time. And Africa Bambaataa brought everyone in the room, about 100 people, or maybe even less, maybe 50 people, and discussed the idea of unifying rappers. Now, Africa Bambaataa was having these discussions since 1974 in Zulu Nation, or up in Bronx River, getting people together, just like we're gathering right now, to discuss our specific experience in the world. This begins the movement right here. In Bronx River, Africa Bambaataa would discuss our specific movement in the world. Where are we going as DJs, B-boys, B-girls, graph writers, MCs, beatboxers, even managers? Right. You know, where are we going? 1, 2, and 2, stop. 1, yeah, it's a little better. You know, I hear a gate. You have like a gate on the mic. I can hear it opening and closing as I talk. It's all good. So when we gathered in Latin quarters, all of us, this is what Africa Bambaataa laid out. Hey, we need to get more organized. We need to unionize. We need to know what, like, how we gonna pass this on. I was inspired by that meeting, myself and Scott LaRock, the late Scott LaRock. We were inspired by that. We started thinking up this concept called the Stop the Violence movement. Now, contrary to histories that have been written about hip hop, there are certain books, and for history's sake, for the camera's sake, I'm not gonna mention names and discredit certain books, but be very careful of the mainstream books written on hip hop today. I open these books and I laugh. They're talking about me, and it's like completely off information. And I wonder, well then why is the book necessary to be out at all? What's the real point of putting out disinformation on an entire culture that you can ask somebody what the truth is? Why do we keep rushing to do these summits and these conferences that don't ever have the opinion of Cool Herc, Bam, Flash, Theodore, Crazy Legs, Phase 2? Even the golden age of hip hop doesn't even get a say in some of the summits. What's going on? Zoom you up ahead a little bit from Africa Bambaataa, I'll get back to him in a minute. Hip hop today is worth $10.5 billion annually. Or should I say, rap music today is worth $10.5 billion, with a B, dollars today annually. With that much money on the table, it's very hard to convince someone that they should be an upstanding person, a citizen of their country, a father or mother to their child, a husband, a spouse to their spouse, a son or daughter to their parent. Don't nobody care about nothing. When you poor, when you're sick, broke, ignorant, fearful, you can't teach nobody nothing about nothing. So hip hop came into the picture and started making desperate people wealthy. There's a difference between being wealthy and being rich. And wealth has to do with well-being, whereas rich has to do with just getting money. Most of us got rich, but never got wealthy. Meaning, we got money, but we're still insecure. We got money, but we don't know how to spend it. We got money, but we don't know, put it this way, we got money, but we are not the ones actually making the money we get. We're part of a chain of the money going around with the record company and the broadcasters and the advertisers and the record selling, and we part of the chain. But the idea, the sick part to it, is that we are the heart, blood, and mind of this $10.5 billion thing going around that the world is calling hip hop. Now, go back to Africa Bambaataa. We need to unionize. 1987, we need to unionize. I ran away from that saying, wow, how are we supposed to do something like that? At the time, I was a young philosopher. I was still studying hard. And I, of course, took it right into my study in philosophy. Well, how are you supposed to get a group of people together? Well, they need a common spirit, is what I felt at the time. Let's get a common spirit together. If we could build hip-hop's common spirit, that's the glue. How do you build a common spirit? We gotta unite around an agenda. What do we want? Where do we wanna go? What do we wanna be? Suddenly, a woman named Ann Carly, who was the A&R for Jive Records at the time, ran up on me and said, I wanna do a record called, she didn't have a name for it. She just said, I want to do a record that brings most of the mainstream rappers together today, and we want to do it off the record that you did called Stop the Violence. I had did a record called Stop the Violence on the 1988 By All Means Necessary album, and Carly said, we want to do a whole movement off this one record called Stop the Violence, but we want to expand it to include other artists. All the artists came on board, everybody made a phone call, got everybody on the record. Dougie Fresh wrote the chorus, D Nice produced the beat. I kind of oversaw the project. Project comes out, it raises $400,000 for the National Urban League. We give this money, well, for their literacy campaign and so on. But back to hip hop, nothing goes back to hip hop. I went back to, from the Stop the Violence movement, now I'm on college lecture tours. The Stop the Violence movement did KRS real well. But that wasn't the purpose of the movement. The purpose of the movement was, let's form a common spirit amongst the hip hop community itself. Let us all get together as the rap artists and put out a message that says self-destruction, you're headed for self-destruction. In other words, a warning saying that your activity will kill you. And we had about 8 different ways of rappers expressing how you was gonna get jammed up with how you living. Money went to the National Urban League. The West Coast was inspired, so inspired, that they had a whole gang truce. I don't even know if y'all really know the significance of this, but off this record, the West Coast was like, we taking off the red, taking off the blue, Boom, this is it, it's over. They had a whole truce and made a record about it called All in the Same Gang. Huge movement. Dr. Dre produced the record, NWA was down, JJ Fad, they had King T, everybody was on this, MC Hammer was even on this joint. This is the history of the movement. Right after that, we then came back out in 1991 with a song called Human Education Against Lies. Actually, it was a movement called HEAL. We then rose to the occasion and said, hip-hop needs to heal from the wounds of the civil rights movement. Let me take you back a little bit. It is our belief that hip-hop is the promised land that Dr. Martin Luther King spoke of in his I Have a Dream speech. This is a belief. This is a faith. This is where people get tripped up with KRS. This is a belief. You don't have to believe this. This is a faith. But I'm going to tell you the faith that I walk on and what the temple stands for. When Dr. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream one day, and y'all know the speech. If you don't get it, you know, it's all out there. The only group of people internationally that are the physical manifestations of the I Have a Dream speech are what is called hip-hoppers. When the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners are going to sit down at the table of brotherhood, where a man and a woman will not be judged by the content of or not be judged by their skin, but by the content of their character. You don't see that happening nowhere in the world, still to today, except in hip-hop. Blacks still got problems. Haitians don't like Jamaicans. Jamaicans don't like Trinidadians. Trinidadians don't want to deal with the Cubans. Cubans, Asians still got problems. Japanese don't like Chinese. Chinese don't like Tibet. Tibetans don't like Vietnamese. Vietnamese don't want Korean. You name any race, they got problems. Europeans, they got problems. Only place there's no problem with race, ethnicity, class, religion is hip-hop. It is our belief then that when Dr. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream, he said in that speech, he said, I have a dream that my 4 little girls will live in a country where they could be, they're not going to be judged by their skin, but by their character. She said, my 4 little girls. What does that mean? That means that he wasn't talking to the people of that time. The I Have a Dream speech was a vision. It wasn't meant for the people of the day in the 60s, 63, I think. It wasn't meant for them. He spoke to his daughters. Who was his daughters? His daughters were 3, 4, 5. They were us, what is called Generation X. That generation that made hip hop is directly who Dr. Martin Luther King was. The next generation after Dr. Martin Luther King was hip hop. The next generation directly after Malcolm X was hip hop. The next generation directly after Adam Clayton Powell, Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, the Black Panther Party, Nation of Islam, even the 5% Nation, with Clarence 13X, the very next generation was hip hop. We are the promised land spoken of by Dr. Martin Luther King. Now, you can wait for that promised land to come, or you can start building it now. It is our belief, a belief of faith, that God usually comes to the most downtrodden people in human history. If you look at all the histories, not just the European Bible history, but check the Bhagavad Gita, the baskets of Buddha, the Upanishads. You check these ancient books, the libraries of Samaria, Alexandria stuff. Everybody got the same story about a divine people coming to the earth. Everybody. From the beginning of recorded history, and here's how the story goes. There is a ruling class and there is an underclass. The underclass are so beaten, there is nothing physical on earth they can do to get out from their oppression. They are stuck. The underclass prays, God help us. We have nothing else but our mouth in prayer now. Suddenly, the government is oppressing them, sees a sign in the universe. And they say, you know, somebody's been born here that's gonna topple your whole regime. And they was just born right now. Who are they? We don't know. They're a newborn.
Kill them all.
Kill them all then, the government says. Kill them all. But what happens? This kid or this movement gets placed right under the Pharaoh's nose. While he's out killing everybody he can find in the hood, the real prophet is right in his own house, growing up, protected. This story has been repeated over and over, and it is in every culture's mythology about a divine people. The Bible tells you the story twice. They tell it to you in Moses, and they tell it to you with Jesus. You see the divine kid coming, government tries to wipe everybody out, they fail, the government passes, the Messiah is born, and changes are made, nations are built. Now, how does that apply to hip hop? First of all, like Jeremiah, Ezekiel, all the prophets before the Christ, we had the same thing. Malcolm, Martin, Marcus Garvey, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass. Most divine people started slaves in everybody's history. World, I'm talking world. This is not American history. This is 15 and 10,000 year old history. Everybody history starts off with the downtrodden as slaves, worthless people, and some divine force touches them and they topple the whole government. We are mimicking that story right now. We had our prophets, they shot them, they hung them, they burned them, they elected, threw them in jail. Similar. Then what happens? J. Edgar Hoover in the 60s says, we got to issue a plan called counterintelligence, the COINTELPRO counterintelligence program. Why? To prevent the rise of a black messiah, end quote. Now, it don't get no more coincidental than this. The United States government agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Herod, Pharaoh, the cops, the centurion, same position in history, says, yo, a Messiah is born. Word? Where is he? Well, he might be in the anti-war movement, could be in the hippie movement, could be in women's rights movement, this black power movement, civil rights. We don't know where this cat is. So let's kill them all. There's a movie called Black Panther by Mario Van Peebles and his son. They have a scene where they show you the mafia and the FBI conspiring to put heroin in the black community. This is a movie. This is American entertainment. This is how real this is. It's like now we can just joke about it. It's no big deal. The FBI put cocaine in the gun. Yeah, right. They put the guns in there, right? It's like now it's just like entertainment. But this is what happened. They tried to wipe out the firstborns. They did wipe out a lot of the firstborns. But the firstborn they was trying to get, the Messiah, they never got her. Or him. They never got him. Why? Because the Messiah is not one person. The Messiah is a symbol for an idea that liberates people. Those that have ears to hear, hear it. The Messiah is never physical. The Savior is never physical. The Savior is the adopted idea that liberates your mind. The Savior is the idea you take on and you say, wait a minute, I'm not that, I'm that. So quick, so I'm not this, I'm this. The government tried to get rid of hip hop same way. FBI, counterintelligence program. But they missed. Why? They opened another door called entertainment and sports. They said, we're gonna lock up your whole army because that's how you control a population, you know. That's why we in jail like we are. It's not because brothers out here doing crimes and all that stuff. It's because politically, that's our military. Like if all them brothers that are in jail had a real leader, they'd be our military. They'd be our DEA. They'd be our secret police. They'd be our prison CEOs. And we know our brothers and our sisters. I'm not here saying they all good and this, that. I know my brothers. But we would funnel that energy the same way other nations do. How other nations deal with their people when their people want to sell drugs and want to rob motherfuckers and want to run around and shit. How does a nation deal with that? You give them jobs. You say, yo, y'all like robbing, mother, y'all like stealing shit? All right, wait a minute, hold on. You don't want to go to jail for this. You don't want to die for this. Let me make you a Navy SEAL. Let me put you over here, give you some training and some discipline, and now you can use them same skills on the benefit of your nation. But what they do, they take our military people out of the community. And how do you detect them? It's the brothers who don't fear the cops, the brothers who don't fear the courts, the brothers who don't fear other brothers. To them, that's our military. They're locked up though. So it makes the population impotent. We can't really make no changes because we ain't picking up no guns. Simple and plain. You want to make some changes for real? We have to develop a weapon more powerful than a gun. Meaning, and not just another bigger gun or an atomic thing. I mean, you got to invent a weapon. Hip hop has to invent a weapon that when the cops shoot at you, your weapon somehow deflects that. Like the gun is rendered impotent. You can't use a gun on us no more. Why? Because we use light. We have some new invention that we can use the light we can blind you. You don't know who you shooting at. Or we got some magnetic thing we plug up into our car. We can use it on the lighter and put it on the dashboard, and you can't shoot bullets. Your gun jams because we hitting you with an electromagnetic ray that's not illegal.
Yes.
We gotta think like that if we're thinking nation, but that's way down the line. Let me bring you back here. What's here? We are a divine people following a divine pattern. You can check our pattern in all histories. This is why I say hip hop cannot be recorded in A, B, C, D, E, F. Like this happened, then that happened, then that happened, then that happened. That's not the way history is. First of all, nobody's history goes like that. Everybody's history has no end and no beginning. Everyone's history. Everybody's history. You don't know where you begin, and you really don't know where you're gonna end. You don't have a beginning or an end, and so does hip hop. We've always existed in the world. It's just at certain times politically, we were able to pop up here, we were able to pop up there. We were able to be over here. And let me tell you this about you guys that write history, you write hip hop's history. Begin to think about hip hop in superposition, meaning think not of a linear history, but think of tracking an idea or an attitude throughout space and time. Meaning, when does a Neanderthal become hip hop? When did John Locke become hip hop? When does Abraham Lincoln become hip hop? When does George Washington become hip hop? When does Malcolm X become hip hop? When does Adolf Hitler become hip hop? When does Jesus Christ become hip hop? That's how we should be writing our culture, writing our history, not the way we've been trained by our oppressors. The oppressor has trained us to look at history from starting point, and then this happened, and then that happened, and then this happened, and now you're here. That's not the truth. They told us we were slaves. They said, here's your history. 1492, this great white man came and wiped out all the Indians. That's a lie. That never happened. It goes even further. Then this great white man went to Africa and just took black people and brought them overseas. Another lie. Never happened like that. You just roping up black people and we just on the boat? Or you just beating us down and we just saw civilization been flourishing in Africa for 20,000 years, and just 1 year, one century, all of a sudden, all that comes tumbling down, all that knowledge, all that math, all that military, all that money, everything comes tumbling down in 1 century. 1400s, Europe rises to power and takes over the world. That's a lie. That's what we've been taught. That's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for an African-American cause that doesn't exist. We're fighting for black power, and it does not exist. This is why I say, these are faiths, these are beliefs. Believe what you want. Your life is your life. But when millions of my children ask me, they say, KRS, how you get there? You started off home, I read your story. How you go from here to here? How you go? Here's how it happened. First, I had to know the truth. What's the truth? Christopher Columbus wasn't the first person in America. Come on. You got the Chinese coming here in 1421. You got Africans here 750 BC. You got the Norse, white folk up in Europe, coming trading with the Mexicans 1200 BC. From Scandinavia, no rape, no murder, no burning down the village. White folk. White folk coming across Europe, landed, traded with the Mexicans, traded, gave knowledge. Matter of fact, the meeting was so great between these whites and the Mexicans that the Mexicans said these whites were gods and we're waiting for them to come back. So when the Spaniards came back, they thought this was the god. And the Spaniards then commenced to start raping, robbing, pillaging, and so on. But now, let me not confuse you even further. I can't say Spaniards. That's a lie. It was a company, a corporation. Not all Spanish people. Most Spanish people didn't know what the hell was going on. Most Spanish people didn't even want to get on a boat. The population of Spain could care less about what Christopher Columbus and his company, his corporation was doing. Yes. So his corporation lands in America, like Mobil, like Exxon. They land, and what do? We're taking the resources. This ain't got nothing to do with black, white, this, that. No, where's the goal? What? You got gold, that's what we here for. All this black, white, we running around fighting for, no, it ain't never been about that. It's always been about this money. And it's always been about greed. And it's always been about ignorance and knowledge.
Fear.
Fear and doubt. You either part of the crew that know truth, or you part of the crew that don't. And too many people front like they know when they don't. And this is what hurts the most, because I'm taught, most philosophers are taught, if you're serious, that when you get knowledge, you don't give it to the masses. When you get knowledge, you don't give that to the masses. Why? Because they're stuck. Even if you told them what to do to get free, they can't get free. Why? They don't have your character. Why? They don't believe what you believe. Why? They don't have the vision you got. So even if you say, yo, in 20 years, even 10 years, we could build a hip hop city like Las Vegas. Cats be like, damn, man, but my cell phone about to cut off. Damn, I gotta pick up my daughter, man. That's where your brain at, and there's no judgment on that. But let's keep it real. If that's where you at, this discussion ain't for you. And let's just keep it really real. We got black scholars that think they know, and they don't. And why do I stand and say that? Like I know. Here's why. Knowledge is based on experience. Well, I'll even go deeper. Everything I'm saying, I'm doing. Period. Every bit of knowledge I can give you, I've mastered it myself. When I leave here, I have a choice whether I want to go to Spain, England, France, or Ghana, South Africa, or Canada. I'm not tied down by no man or government on this earth. We walk over the country freely. Now others say, yo, how can I get on with that? Spitting around? You walking through immigration, all that, spitting around? Yeah, but it's not just a rhyme. I'm living a certain way. There's certain principles that I wake up in the morning to, and they down with hip hop. My principles are all hip hop. Peace, love, unity, having fun. If I stay within peace, can give love and receive love, respect unity, respect the team, respect the crew, respect the block, for real, and have some fun while I'm doing it, I don't give a fuck about nothing else. You can have Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, atheists. Take all, if that works for you, go ahead. Hip hop works for me. I confess to you today, God walks with me every day, and I'm hip hop. I don't pray Christian or Buddhist or none of that. I'll help them, no question. I see God in the Christian religion. That's why I put out spiritual minded. People say, yo, is Chris a born again Christian? I can be if you want me to be. I studied the Bible for 35 years. What? I got honorary degrees and all that. I could be a Christian if you want, but I'm up on this Quran too. Them 5 pillars is no joke. Oh, but then Buddha got something to say too. The middle way. If hip-hoppers could ever learn the middle way that Buddha teaches, we had no problems. Let's take it back 6,000 years to go to Hinduism. One of the first world religions. The first, not Africa. Africa didn't want to share its knowledge with the world. Remember? Akhenaten got kicked out of Egypt, wanting to share the knowledge with the world. The priest said, no, leave them ignorant, like I told you. And why? Because when you give people knowledge, they turn around and kill you for it. The story of Jesus. So what do people who really know do? Real bad boys move in silence. They let everybody else talk. Like I said, when I open it, I look at these hip hop histories and I say, keep talking. If that's what you believe happened in hip hop, then go ahead. Your knowledge will manifest in your life. Who am I to judge anyone? What you think is gonna become your life. Now, until I come to you and I say, man, my life is fucked up, man. You say, yo, Chris, what's wrong, man? Man, I'm depressed. I can't seem to get it together. I'm broke. I'm stuck. You ain't never gonna see it. It's been 20 years. Ain't nobody ever seen that from me. And what's the point? It ain't got nothing to do with me. Here's what it got to do with our kids. If one guy in hip hop figured it out, shouldn't we teach our children that? Our children are gonna grow up and say, yo, I wanna be a DJ, I wanna be an MC. Where's the institution that we send our children to? That we know for sure they not getting felt up and molested and all that crazy. We know there's a serious cat up there, there's real men and real women looking after our children. Where's that spot? Where's that one place where our children can learn how and what they want to learn? Not DJ and run and whatever, that stupidness they teaching in school, making the kids shoot at each other. Like imagine, man, I had a debate the other day with someone on the phone about this. That same old rap music causes violence. They have a new report out. They have a new report out. You know, it says rap, they say kids listening to rap music are more prone to violence and drug use. Like that. And I could immediately say, well, so then what music are the Catholic priests listening to? What causes them to do that? What kind of music if music is even like that? If music can even do all that, what music they listening to? Shouldn't we be on the lookout for that too? Shouldn't we be looking at that? No, because here's the point. To even speak like that, you gotta be a free man. You gotta be free. And what does it mean to be free? You gotta work toward that. I'm not free today because I'm free today, because I made a record. Nah, man, there are principles to being a free man, especially a free black man. There's principles to that. Let me start with one, and I'm gonna bring this to a close. Start counting me now. Free black man, number one. First of all, I can see past blackness. Number one, as a free black man, I'm not trapped in black. A slave black man can only be a black man. Not me. I could be Mexican. You get me in Tijuana. Cats be like, yeah, you Mexican, bro? Word, because I blend right into your culture. Boom. Why? I'm hip hop. Everywhere, everybody culture, my culture. Now I know we got black people over here, and I know I resemble them. But that's not who I am inside. It's not who I am inside. Even with my hair, my face, everything like this. I go to Japan. They'll swear I've been in that country for 14 years. I'll blend in, learn the language, eat what they chill. How? How did I even get that? Why? Because I grew up in a place called New York. And they got a place called Times Square. And when you go to Times Square, if you can't talk to 100 different cultures in less than 20 minutes, you gonna get it. You lost. Cat's gonna be like, there you go, right there, get him. That's him right there. He a tourist, he ain't from around here. He don't even look like us. Look at this cat. And you are tourist Africans going by, you know, this, you gotta be able to deal with the African, boom, deal with the Jamaican, boom, deal with the Chinese, Vietnamese. You gotta deal with mad people. When you in New York, and many cities are becoming that now. Miami done blew up. Miami multicultural out here. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. And if you still stuck on, you got a certain way you approach the white man. You got a certain way you approach the Asian. You got a certain way you approach the... you're gonna be left in behind. The market done opened up. There's no such thing as America anymore. The word United States of America is for poor, uneducated people. That don't exist no more. It's called the World Bank. That's it. That's it. You might as well just call everything the World Bank. And we live in a banking commerce economy. Not agriculture, not even religion. Banking and commerce. When you come to realize that the reality you in is a banking reality, it's a money reality, then you say, look, I gotta get this money. Most spiritual people say, oh man, if I go get this money, somehow I'm not close to God. Damn, if I even think about getting money, somehow, I don't know, that's not the attitude of a person that's close to God. If I bling up a little, if I put this watch on with these rocks in it, damn, somehow cats, I don't feel like I feel like I gotta be poor and broke and always lonely if I'm gonna be spiritual. Another lie. Another lie. At the Temple of Hip Hop, we teach health, love, awareness, and wealth. It's called the H-Law. Health, love, awareness, and wealth. Why do we teach wealth? Because we're wealthy people. We've been blinging since the beginning of the... that's something else that's in history. Our jewelry, how we be just stunning from the beginning. That's what got us robbed. Right there, that's what got us robbed. Pharaoh walking around with just draped in jewels. Europe couldn't take it. But let me drop this last jewel on you. And I'm gonna bring it back to hip hop here. And I mentioned all of this in reference to our culture. To our culture. Hip hop always existed. It's the true world order. That's why you have to have a new world order. Because a new world order means you're trying to take over something that's already been here. So if there needs to be a new world order, what is the true world order? The true world order is hip hop. Why do I say that? Because when you put a pen in a kid's hand, any kid, a young kid, you put a pen or something in his hand, they go right to the wall. Any kid, you get raised, class, rich, poor, it don't matter. Put a pen in his hand or her hand and say right. They'll go right instinctively. They go right to the wall. Writing on paper is social indoctrination. We gotta write down on the paper. Human beings don't even learn to write like that. And what is the effect on your intelligence when you naturally write upright, but you're being forced to write down? How does that make you think as you grow up? This is real. Why do I say hip hop is the true world order? Everybody dances. B-boy, everybody's dancing. You show a kid one breaking move and they tell you that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Any kid, show a real B-boy popping, doing his thing, moving his body like that. Little kids respect that. And say, that I want to be that, I want to do that. You look at MCing, talk, rhythmic talk. This is the beginning of human intelligence right here. We had to be doing this from Neanderthals. MCing, voice vibration, knowing how to use the vibration of your voice to move a crowd, to move animals, to move the sky to make it rain. We gotta know what MCing really is. And this is what we teach at the Temple of Hip Hop. Why is there a Temple of Hip Hop? Well, after the Stop the Violence movement, Human Education Against Lies, all in the same gang, I had an epiphany. I said, wait a minute. Anytime hip hop comes into existence, we're doing it. We are the ones doing it. And I noticed this going to a boardroom meeting one day. It was in 1995. I was up at this meeting in Time Warner. I had a label through Elektra Records, 75 Rockefeller Plaza. I'm up in there. They got jazz, classical, country. And I was in this like they was having a new music seminar kind of thing where they have a representative from every music and we're gonna show you how to get into business. And of course that discussion deteriorated into a debate about what effect what music has on society. But I found myself there hip hop. Meaning that the only time hip hop comes into physical manifestation is when I'm doing it or you doing it. There's no can of hip hop. There's no coat called hip hop and you put it on, or that you can go to a school and learn hip hop. That does not exist. What exists in truth is an idea, the savior, an idea called hip hop. This idea has never come into physical manifestation, ever. Look how powerful.
Sorry, you have 5 minutes.
Good. Look how powerful hip hop is, the idea. This idea has never come into physical manifestation, ever. It's been captured on CD, you could capture it on film, you could wear it, but the actual, what can you point to in physical reality and says, this is hip hop, and from this, everything else comes? Hip hop never enters the material world. It remains a spiritual idea. It is not a physical thing. That's why when people call CDs hip hop, they are degrading our culture. You don't call a product hip hop. Why? Because you are hip hop. The only time hip hop comes into physical manifestation is when you doing it. Somebody else can't say, I'm not hip hop, but we're gonna show you it. No, it's impossible. You're not it, and we're not gonna see it from you. That's it. We can't see it from you because you yourself don't believe you're it. You don't believe you it. So you ain't it. But the ones who do believe, all they gotta do is unite with others that believe. And suddenly you have a vortex of opportunity that opens up that didn't exist before. You said, as a black man, yo, I'm a black man. And this is what I grew up on. I grew up in the civil rights struggle, no question about it. Pan-Africanist, no question about it. BLA, straight up, no question about it. Kwame Ture, that was my teacher for 2.5 years before he passed, rest in peace. But then, and it's so funny, those that seek truth, you go through a stage where you say, I'm just my mother's son, and I'm representing my family. Then you rock that. And then you get new intelligence and new knowledge, and you say, wait a minute, I'm a black man. I'm representing the black people of this world. And you say, but wait a minute, but what is that? What is a black man? What is that? Is it black folk? Well, you know, what, Haitians are black, Jamaicans are black, what? Well, I'm African, you get more knowledge. I'm African American. The specific experience of the African American is what I'm representing. Then you get more knowledge. You learn stupid stuff like there were 59 signers to the Declaration of Independence, and 29 of them were all people of color. You learn stupid stuff like that. Like you learn that the Constitution was actually bitten from the Native American Indians. Well, not bit, but was plagiarized from the Native Americans. The Native Americans lived like the Constitution from jump. Right, the whole idea of nation states. Come on, Jeff, you know you.
Hit him, man.
The whole idea stolen from the Native American. Then the white man said, oh, this is me, this is what I'm doing. And then we believe in it. And then fighting against it. Like fighting, what's worse than not fighting against oppression is fighting against the illusion of oppression. Damn, did you get that? Let me say that one more time. Thank you, God. Let me say that one more time. What's worse than what's worse than not fighting against oppression is fighting against the illusion of oppression. Meaning, the white man's coming to get me, and nobody's coming to get you. The Illuminati, and it's a made-up word. What? These people are trying to get us, they really lizards. How that gonna help you raise your kid? How that gonna help you in your relationship with your wife? If George Bush is the devil, why you ain't God? This is the questions we ask. And we say to ourselves, well, wait a minute. There is an answer here. What's the answer? Self-creation. If I could teach my children anything, it'd be the same thing I teach your children. Self-creation. Create yourself, young man. Create yourself, young woman. Create yourself. Take a look at everything around. Don't believe none of it, not even what I'm telling you. Walk your walk, talk your talk, but know that the walk you walk and the talk you talk is gonna manifest the reality of your life. So if you walk like a black man, you're gonna get black man experiences. Be prepared. If you walk like an African American, you're gonna get African American experiences. Be prepared. I walk like a hip hopper. I get hip hopper experiences. I stay prepared. Why? I don't live like African Americans. I know I am. I know I'm black. But I don't live, I listen to African American, I listen to, what's supposed to be the hot topic on African American. I'm so far from NAACP. I mean, not dissing, but I'm keeping it real with you. I don't know what that is. I don't know what black folk doing. I don't know what African Americans are doing, but I know what hip hop's doing. I don't know where African Americans are going. There's no collective agenda on us. There's no leadership that we all say, yo, we getting behind Duke. One disrespect on Duke's name and you out of here. We ain't got none of that. What we got? We got leaders that want everything the white man got, and then telling us we gotta do everything white people do for us to have power. Fuck that. That's not what I'm teaching at all. What I'm teaching is the same thing they did, you can do better. In fact, you don't even have to do that. If we were civilization builders when they met us, we still are. So let's start building our civilization right now. Fuck this black shit, white shit, Native American, Cuban. That shit's been dividing us for centuries. We can rise above race, above ethnicity, above class, above religion, and become a new nation for real. Real nation building with an army, with a police force, post office, hospitals, schools. How do you achieve that for real? Everybody in here who could buy a home, save your money. Don't buy no home yet. I would tell this to all the new 18-year-olds. The new 18-year-olds, they growing up, they got new credit. They learn hip hop, they can have cash and credit. That's what you need. Don't buy no house, I'll tell the 18-year-olds, wait. I saw on CNN for 7, wait a minute, what was it?
21 million.
21 million, right? $21 million you could buy a town. 21 million. You could buy a town. Because you know what? You don't tell nobody like me that. That's all you need. And you could buy a town. A town. Forget the cops on your back and you got attitudes at the hospital. You can own a town. In our lifetime, if we could just see like that. Don't spend no money. Wait until the hip hop city is built. Then we come together, everybody buy a patch of land, everybody take an acre. Boom, my house on this acre. Boom, my house on that acre. Boom, this Kane house here. Boom, that's Chuck house there. Boom, this is Run's house here. Run's house. My MCing slips out sometimes. But yo, you get all these cats that's supposed to have some money, and you say, yo, yeah, we way past. Let's just open up the question. The point is this. We're about building a nation. Right there. No, keep that conversation going. Hey, getting bigger, and we gotta invest. And yo, what kind of prison you think you would open up? And yo, you think you can open a prison? Yo, I'm thinking about opening a prison. Yo, cats is getting money on prisons, dog. Yo, let's go open a few prisons ourselves. Like, we always thinking, damn, they doing this to us, they doing that to us, and they ain't doing nothing to you. They ain't doing nothing to you. These are old stories circling around your DNA from back in the days. Because I tell you something else, and don't let me go over, but I'll tell you this. Slavery didn't exist the way it is in your mind. The way slavery is in your mind never happened. And here's some contradictory points. Jamestown, Virginia, that's the beginning, right? 1619, Jamestown, Virginia. Here's the contradiction. They say Africans were brought from Africa as slaves in 1619 Jamestown, Virginia. A lie! Africans were coming from the Caribbean on their way to Europe in a ship built by Africans. The captain was a guy named John Tucker, black man, captain of the ship. They ran aground, weather blew them up into Virginia. They got to Virginia, had crazy money, food, spices, gold, everything. Got off the ship, bought land. They came off with the Johnsons. Do the history on the Johnsons, Johnson products. Johnson, some of the first African Americans here in this country. They bought land. What did they do? They did what everybody do. Let's get some slaves. Who did they get? Black people. Why that story ain't told? Johnson & Johnson, Johnson family, Tucker family, these families, they own black people as slaves. Black man own another black man and woman and treating them like slaves. This ain't about color, it's about status. That's what it was about. Status, class. What about Florida? You know, Florida was controlled by the French. You know, and guess who was in Florida? Africans. It was called the African Bourbon Monarchy. They sided up with the Native Americans. They owned Florida, Mississippi. New Orleans was here before America was. New Orleans, a city that just got wiped off the map. Remember that city? That city was here before America was. When we all the same period, we all saying all black folk were bent over, picking cotton. We had to fight off the white man. That's a lie. At the same time, so-called millions of blacks were picking cotton, supposedly, there's a cat named Benjamin Banneker writing almanacs and planning Washington, D.C. What was he drinking? What was he on? Harriet Tubman. Somehow she rose up, got a cat, had a Bible, went back 17 times to free cats.
Teacher, I'm sorry, we're already...
We're going to open this to questions and answers right now. We can probably continue this.
I have the microphone, so whoever wants to come and grab it.
And just pass it on to me.
Larry Dog, how y'all doing? How everybody doing? Y'all give a man a round of applause, man. What's your goal, man, before you leave this earth?
My goal, wow. Well, personally, is to, you know, it may sound corny, but it's real, though. I want to master fatherhood.
Okay. Woo.
on the real, just personally, like I want to master that. Like before I die, write the book on fatherhood. And even if it's wrong and controversial, like they say, when you become a father, there's no book. I want to do that.
How far this nigga word is going with you? A nigga word.
I'm bilingual with it. I could understand, people say the Quincy Joneses to say, yo, I don't even want to hear that word around me. You know what I'm saying? I could understand that because he comes from a different time than we do. And historically, this word is used disrespectfully and as a racial epithet. I'm fully aware of that. However, when I'm on the corner of 125th Street and Lenox Avenue, that word doesn't have the same meaning, of course, than as a racial epithet. In fact, in my book, Ruminations, I wrote about this. It was a chapter called Nostra Lingua, Our Language. And I argued that words always point to a graphic. A word is a symbol for an image that's supposed to come up in your mind. So the real issue with the word nigga is, what are we communicating to each other? What are we, when you say nigga, what is the graphic image that comes to your mind on that word symbol? In Quincy Jones's mind, you say nigga, a cat hanging from a tree comes to his mind, or some injustice comes to his mind, and you gotta respect that. You don't go around your elders putting graphic images of disrespect in their mind because you can't control your language. That's disrespect. So I say, boom. No, we ain't speaking like that around our elders because the graphic image of the word is different. Now us on the corner, yo, when you say nigga, I don't even think, I'm thinking, like, I don't even know that it happens so quick. It's like, you don't even think about it. And that's really the issue. You don't even think about it. I think people who debate this word, they think too much about it. They think too much about it. We're not even thinking about this word like that. And then the final point is this. To be able to use the word nigga, N-I-G-G-A, by the way, E-R is offensive. But to use N-I-G-G-A, you can't just use that word. You have to use the whole hip-hop language, and then that word has its meaning in its proper kind. You gotta use words like fly, dope, fresh, our words, motherfucker. Motherfucker in the dictionary is a cowardly and despicable person. That's what motherfucker means. Motherfucker.
Watch your mouth.
It means cowardly and despicable person in the dictionary, Oxford English. But when we use it, it's like, Michael Jordan, that's a bad mother, We don't look at it that way. It's the graphic image that really comes. So I want to.
Motherfucker need to pay me my money.
Yeah. Right. Or he did. Man, that motherfucker finally paid me my money.
Okay.
But now when you say that, and we talking like this, we brothers, we know what we talking about. We know what it is. But if somebody else came in the conversation that we don't know what we talking about, I would suggest we change our language. Unless, of course, we just didn't want homeboy to know what we were talking about. Then we just keep talking. But if somebody else gonna come into our family, let's try to, we know what we look like to you. Here's the thing now. Now, maybe some people don't know what they look like to the rest of the world that may speak other languages. Maybe they don't know. And that's the level of maturity or some other, as in part of another conversation. You don't really know what you look like when you speak, and you don't know what you're representing when you coming off. That's another thing. But I would just say that, words are very powerful. And even the word nigga, I don't really like to use the word myself personally. It's not a word I use every day. But it is a word that I have used, will use, and I will continue to use, especially in rhymes. Nigga in rhymes even becomes something different. White people are niggas. Dogs are niggas. If you talk about, the nigga got crushed in the street by a truck. But if you know what we talk about, you be like, nigga, but somebody else be like, did a black person get crushed by? No, we talking about a dog that we saw run across the street, and because that's how we talk. We talk, really, and it's an ancient African thing. We give life to everything.
So what do you think about the word bitch in hip hop?
Man, it's funny you mention that. My wife just put an acronym together for bitch, and it means because I totally challenge him. That's it. And you women don't get no ideas. But she just put that together. Jeff, I'll come to you right now. But on the same thing, thanks for the question. On the same level, bitch is used in the same way in that sense when we use it. And in fact, I think more men are called bitches than women in our culture. When we use the word, we usually, it has different meanings, based on the environment in which we're talking about or the event we're talking about. But when it pertains to women in particular, now, if you are a poet, you have poetic license to use certain words and certain terminologies. I think if you're a comedian, you have certain license, certain social license to say things that we would not normally say and call people out of themselves like we wouldn't normally, because we gonna laugh along with it. I thought, like my man Cat Stevens, for instance, I thought he was very good, actually. I didn't think he was that great of a comedian. The little dude, the Cat Stevens, he had an HBO special. I don't think he, like when I judged him. Cat Williams. Cat Stevens is a singer, right? Cat was. I don't think he was that good as a comedian, But as one of the dudes cracking jokes, he was a master. He just basically he took on the appearance of your man who's always popping that shit. And see, look what I just said, popping that shit. Like, I don't even know if the future would even understand what I just said. So for those that aren't bilingual, your man who's always in your ear talking something that doesn't necessarily make sense or is important. So with the word bitch, it put that to the side. I have special meaning on that. That's why I want to stay on this, because I don't like when women are called bitches by men. Two women doing it, I don't know, it has a weaker terminology.